Shut it down. Where are you going? Oh my God, Whitney Paxton, I'm following you. You're my new favorite person. Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our beautiful city of Second City. I did go through in between parts and do a little bit of map texturing and just try to make things look a little bit nicer. So now our grass, I'll go over here. Our grass has a different texture to it. And I also changed the field of view and where the sun is shining. So if I'm back here now, you'll see the sun is like right here in the water. But I think it gives it a nice shadow, cast a decent amount of light on the city itself. I will say, this building right here, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I love the shape. I love everything about it. I saw it while I was spinning around. I might even lock it in place, but like... ooh, what a good building. We also finally got some of these like really high residential towers, which are very fun. They're very, very skinny, which is unique, but I like it. I'm a fan. All right, so let me just quickly, before we go anywhere, let's just see. We're still waiting on this pollution to die down. I almost finished an entire season, so that should really start drastically reducing here. What we're going to work on today, at least right now, is I want to expand this subway line. I learned in some playtesting that you cannot cross a road over top of a subway line. Doesn't work. Does not function like a train. And with that, it kind of means I have to change my plan a little bit. Not a problem, but it adds an extra level of complexity into this build that I did not anticipate. So let's do this. Let's go ahead, and I'd love to maybe have this kind of curve. Let's complex curve. Yeah, let's complex curve. I want to curve to here, but then I want to go up to here, and then I want to bring it so that we're kind of an entire 6 tiles behind the road there. What I'm thinking is that there will be an additional subway stop right here. This is our main road, but I want to have the subway stop here with the road serving the subway on the opposite side. So let's try to make that happen. We were using the modern subway station, which I do like. This is a full 6 tiles back. So if I were to, let's just build a road coming out straight from here for now. I just need a road right here. Exactly where this all connects up, I don't know yet. Waverly Street. Let's go ahead and get a second subway station right here. And then we're going to connect this into its sister station, or its sister track. Just like so. We have to figure out how we're going to get some of these roads over here. Let's start with this road. Can I... if I reduce this down to my normal and bring it up to 8.75, can we get this over? If I turn like everything off but angle, technically that works, but it looks a little rough. This right here does cross over just fine. All right, let's see. Let's do it this way. If I go here to here, we can get a road over there. Now, can I go from here to here and actually connect up? I can. Does it look... oh, does it look crazy? I mean, it's steep, but you're in a car. You know? We're going to vibe with it. We're going to vibe with it because this is what happens. Says me. I can't be that concerned about it. Like, it's just not worth it. That kind of gives us an idea of where our next connection is. Now... what the heck just happened there? Get rid of that. Let's go from here. Okay. Why am I struggling with like the most basic of tasks? We want to raise it up. Just like this. Right there is a 0% incline. But if we go down to here, I think that looks a little bit nicer. There we go. It also means we may be able to fit this road underneath, or just nearly. What if we stick this to the ground and we drop it down? Well, I don't want to drop it down 10. Hold on. Drop it down 2. Does that work? That does work. Okay, and then we can connect it back up. Now, the question is, how do we want to do this? Do we want to just bring this over this direction? I'd really like to see an additional bridge here, just not this one being the only option. So I actually think what we want to do here is we want to maybe kind of mirror as much as we can the subway line or subway track. Let's bring this down to, right? Then we're going to do a little curve here. I think we can back it up a little bit further. I don't mind that. Just like that. Okay. Okay. I think what I'm struggling with is like, where's the next bridge that gets over here? And I like this curved road too much to adjust that. But I don't want just the avenue being our only bridge over. This bridge would feel way too close. That just feels like overkill. So I think this here would be that bridge. Let's go ahead and extend out the subway line a little bit. The challenge with this build is that I'm going to have to remember to kind of build out the subway line first. Because if I don't, then we're not going to have a subway. All right, this does need to go 8.5. Oh, wait, I have it set to ground. Oopsie. Honestly, it doesn't look nearly as bad on this smaller road. It's this larger road that doesn't look ideal. What I think we could do, though, is I think we could take Move It, and we could just drag this road out to about here. Take this piece, drag that out to about here. Drag this into here. Yep. There's a bit of a bump here. I'd love to even that if I could. Okay, that's much better. Much better. And while we're at it, this particular road right here needs a little adjusting. There we go. Much better. So now we have two bridges over around this train station. This is going to have buildings along the side or maybe trees. It's unclear. But there's not a lot of development able to be here because of the highway. So I don't want the train station facing this way. It doesn't make sense. Here it makes more sense. Here's all this development. But I like it being the opposite direction over here. I do think it does need one additional bridge. I'd love for that bridge to be here. And so what I think I need to do is go ahead and interrupt this connection. Means we might need to make some small changes to our park, but that's okay. Let's bring this up to 7.5. It does cross over. Bam. And then let's bring this from here straight on up to here, wherever we can get it to work. I'm fine with that. Let's send it out to here, this like major line. We have these like major and minor topography lines. Let's send it out to the major line. Let's also go ahead and while we're looking at this, go ahead and kind of curve along this line. How do we feel? I feel pretty good. I like that it's giving us an additional obstacle that we have to kind of work around. Like that's, we don't often have obstacles that we stick to, so having this obstacle is helpful. All right, so then I think for this section, I do want this to kind of go straight, but now I'm wondering, like, would it just make more sense for this to connect here, like this, at the base of this bridge, and instead of having this come underneath here, this does some type of small little curve moment. Like this were to come out straight to here. We curve down to here. Remove this. And we curve this to here. A little bit of a windy path, but I can get into it. The longer and longer and longer I look at this, the more I don't like it. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to actually back all of that up. I might terribly regret that. I think what I'd rather do is this. Can I just curve like that? I can get to here. And then we can just go for straight. That just feels so much more correct. Like that's how that should look. So I'm going to do that instead. Okay. We already have trucks here too. Amazing. a semi. It's got cargo. So now we're starting to expand over this direction. I do want to connect here into Woodlawn. One problem we've got with Woodlawn is that it is very hilly. But I think what I want to do is I want to essentially take... You know what? I think we do a grid out here. Bring it over to here and bring this straight on down to here. I can't really get that far. Hold on. Let's do it like this. Let's bring this down to... I wouldn't mind doing 3. What if we brought it to here? Right? It works its way down this hill. I think we change out this connection for sure. And instead, let's bring a road straight on down from here. Okay. Okay. This is actually a better entrance road. But with that in mind, I think we change this so that this is just a nice curve. Bring this up. Curve it in. Call it a day. Juniper Street. There we go. Yep. Yep. Because then we've got kind of like a clear little... This is an area that's a neighborhood, right? Because we've got this train station in the way. Bring this up straight. Let's curve this kind of along the back here. Turn off snap to angle and snap to... Turn off everything except for snap to existing geometry. Bring this around. I think we'll again do like a small little curve inwards. And then I will snap to angle and we'll do one additional road here. So now we're kind of incorporating Woodlawn, but now we've got like this neighborhood here, which looks nice. We also have this hill, which could be developed, but I think for now we'll leave it empty. It does necessitate me changing maybe Woodlawn a little bit. I think Woodlawn is going to go along this road, Juniper Street. Yep. Yep. That's all Amberwood, and we have Hickory Hill. Love that. Okay, now we do have this like dead-end street here on Linden, which I also think probably messed up a bus lane. Did it not? Yeah, they don't just turn around there. You know what? I almost think that this has to be a dead end, and that's okay. It means that we get a little cul-de-sac, and we place a little cul-de-sac with trees on it right here. Like, that just had to happen. We had to do that at this point because of the new development. Also means, oh man, here we go. Because what that does mean is that now all of this can just become this green grass texture. Yep. Yep. Bam. We'll put some more trees and stuff there, but that's kind of all a part of this park, Linden Park. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. We got to make an edit. All right, let's also go ahead. I just saw the train come in. I think it's worth editing this now that we've got power to the station. Let's go ahead and bring this subway station out one more. It's going to come all the way over to here. Then it is going to still stop here. Don't you worry, people. We're not going anywhere. There we go. So now we've added one additional stop there. How many trains are on this line? Only one at the moment, which I think is fine. But now you can live all the way out here in Fox Hollow. You can catch the subway, and in 1, 2, 3 stops, you're in Sheffield. Right? Is that correct? Am I crazy? Let's see. Yeah, subway line 3. Then you're in Sheffield, which is perfect. This also has 2 upgrades that I did not notice. We can add an extra platform or an entrance roof, which I'd love to add the entrance roof. Let's turn Anarchy on for that and just put that down. That just looks much nicer. We'll turn Anarchy back off. It's next to a crematorium. Okay, so now we've got 3. I love that. It's got 4 stops total. Okay. Back over here, we're starting to get an understanding of what this area is supposed to look like. It's slowly coming together. I also think right here, perfect spot to have a bit more of a gridded kind of setup. There would be no reason not to. If I came out the 90, it does work kind of perfect. I'd say let's bring this out at 90 and connect up into this street here. Connect straight down to here. Beautiful. Do we change the power lines while we're here? I think we do. I think at the moment we go ahead and just push the power lines even further back. And then we can get rid of all of these lines here. Bam. That divert, it did. Now they're out of the way. Do we have 2 little houses here? Oh my word. We have 2 level 5 houses that just like have never dezoned. Whoopsie. All right, so now we've got this nice square. I mean, is it boring? Yeah, but is it going to be exactly what we need over here? Yeah. So let's go ahead and do a line here, and we'll switch it up on this side, and we'll go like this. Just build out another kind of little pocket there. This road here, then continuous. Here's where this goes. This is going to curve up this direction. Head out straight. Head out a bit further straight. Curve right into here and connect right on in. So now we've got another kind of road that goes all the way. Actually, this goes all the way over into the highway area. That's perfect. Okay, so that moves along this way. We've got kind of a clear, this is like a business district. Here's a set of houses. Could be all along here. That's great. I did place this Hyacinth Street, but I never connected it up to anything. And I'm wondering if we actually just remove it. It has nothing, going for it on that side. I don't know if it's needed. Maybe this is just another little neighborhood. Both of these will get little cul-de-sacs along that edge. That's very nice. Okay, another neighborhood built out. Great, great, great. Now, I think we'll save this section here. I would like to see a bit more connection through all of this. So let's start with the avenue. We have this major avenue, but there's no other major kind of connections through here. I think this avenue could curve over. I mean, what's the goal here? Is the goal to get the avenue to connect to this avenue? Or are these 2 totally separate things? Because we have this large avenue here, and we have one coming this direction, but it's not really going towards anything at the moment. Maybe we start with this. The longer I look at this and the more I'm messing with it, the more I think maybe we start with this and we kind of see where it goes from here. I think, too, that this is going to be its own little neighborhood. I know it's very tiny. Some people love and some people hate kind of the smaller little pocket neighborhoods. No, I think it gives me permission to design something totally different in this section, and I enjoy that. This will also incorporate the train station, even though the train station is not actually... Nah. Train station is going to be a part of Linden Park. It has to be. And honestly, Amberwood, I want to take all this and make all of this Linden Park, but then I feel like I'm just eating Amberwood for no reason. We shouldn't do that. All right, so now we have this little kind of pocket neighborhood here. Right? Then I think, at least for now, everything we've built here is a part of a neighborhood. We're just going to make this easy on ourselves, though. And we're going to bring this down, over, and then connect right up here into Fox Hollow. Bam. Cedar Junction. Cool with me. Okay. Now that we've got Cedar Junction in place, I do think I need to address the school issue. Amberwood is still going to be upgrading. Like, not all the buildings here are at the highest level. I think we can figure that out by going here and going to building level. Yeah, most of these buildings are level 3. We've got 1 or 2 that are level 1. Because of that, I think we need to separate our high school here. Our elementary school. Our high school is doing just fine. But I do think we need to add in an elementary school specifically for Fox Hollow. Fox Hollow currently has, and the neighborhood for Fox Hollow is not going to be getting all that much bigger, but it currently has 1,900 residents. How many of these residents are children? 500. Let's go ahead and do a school here. I think we could do a small elementary school, and we could even put it here kind of near the high school. Or we place it kind of along the train. Although I kind of envision this would be trees. And I don't know if I want it right next to the high school, so maybe we place it on this side. But then again, the vast majority of people in Fox Hollow live in this little area. I don't know. I don't like it being so close to the highway. So if we place it I think I want to place it maybe offset a little from the highway. Place it right here. This will be assigned to Fox Hollow. We can go ahead and unassign this from Fox Hollow. So that's going to reduce some of that capacity. Okay, so now we have the Fox Hollow Small Elementary School. Luckily, the plus side to this is that we do have an extension wing and a gymnasium, which, frankly, oh man, I was going to place a parking lot next to here just because like we're in the suburbs. I kind of want to place a gymnasium instead. Yeah, we're going to do the gymnasium. I think I like that. And it kind of feels like this is all a part of the same complex. It's all a part of the Fox Hollow complex. Now, what I am going to do is move it real quick. I want to take this building. Can I not select this building? Make this the same height as this. There we go. That works better. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Now we got to remove all these frickin' trees. So now we have the Fox Hollow Elementary School, which kind of looks like it's a part of the Fox Hollow Secondary School. And the secondary school also supports everyone who lives here. Not ideal for all those living here, but it was just where the school was built. We may build another high school kind of in this area to service all of these people. And if that's the case, you can also send your students over there. Okay. We've got our school in place. We've got our subway moving back and forth. We haven't done any zoning over here yet, which I think would be a good place to start. But before we do, well, actually, let's do that first. And then I want to do some type of pathway situation over here, which we're going to get to here in a moment. Let's start with Fairview Corner because this is a tiny little one-off neighborhood. I would like to use the UK semi-detached. What I am going to do here is I'm going to place them. When I do these smaller neighborhoods, I find that doing it by hand way more fun. And it's not a huge commitment because they're small. This and this, no, that would intersect with the other one. I guess we could do a medium though. Okay, so now we've got all these like nice big houses in this little area. They've got their terraced gardens. Yes. Yes. Let's just smatter this with some trees. Perfect. Perfect. It's this little tiny Fairview Corner. Nothing crazy. It's just this tiny neighborhood. I love that. Okay. Now we've got Juniper Street, which I think is a pretty... That's going to be a pretty active road. You're connecting everybody over to here into this area. And until we figure out if we're doing any connections here, I actually think Juniper Street is going to get an upgrade right off the bat. I want this to be a 3-lane asymmetrical. I want to go like this, like this. You're saying that doesn't work, which I do find strange. You should work just fine. This should also work just fine. Nope, that we're absolutely anarchying in. Ain't no way. Now, we do have to fix this one moment here where it turns into 1 lanes. Oh, I know exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Hold on. That needs to be this. This needs to be this. This needs to be neither. This can be this. There we go. That was my problem. I was sticking it to the ground. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We've got Fairview Corner, which I don't like this name. Who's the most recent person to chirp? Sydney Harley. Let's call this Harley. Better than Bumber Fuel, so we're just going to name that. This is a little neighborhood of Harley. Sure. Okay. Cedar Junction. I'm struggling to build this because it doesn't feel at all complete yet, so I don't know what the picture is we're building. Like, what are we painting here? I do think we are at the place now, though, where everything we're building is going to be low density. I would love to do more low density offices if we could. Like, this just feels like a nice office street. This here did not zone in with anything, so we'll put business there. We'll also put business along here. We'll stand on business. And then we're going to put a parking lot right here. I think we're getting into the suburbs. You know, there's going to be more areas where parking lots are just a part of kind of the life here. This will need a bit of detailing, but let's let everything kind of zone in and let's see what we get. I do think I could be into just doing a pathway right around kind of the backside here. Let's turn off snap to sides of roads. and instead bring that pathway that way. And then we'll move the surface further in once we know what this all looks like. Then along here, I know it is not ideal, but I do think you would have houses along this road. It's a busy road, for sure, but I don't think it's going to stop people from moving in. Let's force the zoning along here, which I like. Let's actually turn this whole thing. I think that whole thing can just be raised. That makes sense to me. We've got zoning along there. We have zoning all along here, which I like. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then all of this, why don't we try out the... Do we want to try out the Eastern European style single and semi-detached houses? A little small. For how much land I'm giving you, the fact that that's what you're building is not ideal. There we go. There's a bigger guy. Why were so many of these the same? I think we're actually going to just... Yeah, they only go 4 back there for some reason. Okay. Only go 4 back. Work. This area, key wallet. Again, just to kind of force the residential zoning onto this interior. Let's place the same EE style housing. Why not? All right, so Cedar Junction is building out. That looks pretty good. I think this section here, this area here, I think will be businesses, right? I want to kind of disguise this train track. I do want there to be trees kind of along the back here. It doesn't make sense to have these people kind of having to be exposed to all the noise of the train. So let's go ahead and just fill all this here with some trees as best as we can. We'll also get our oaks. I really should have started with the oaks because they're just so big. So now we got all this going. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of business here. I do think I want to do the Japanese low density business. I just think it looks nice. And I think what we could do, we could even turn this here into offices. Let's remove both of these. And then once these businesses zone in, I think what we do is we actually bring out the surface to kind of meet the train track. I think that's going to look great. Okay, so all this is coming together nicely. How is this looking? This looks pretty good. Let's do a little bit of maybe like wild bushes here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? Keeping it cute, okay. Then we've got this business here. All these look pretty good. I guess this could also have just like a little bit of foliage decoration here. I will say, you know what? I was going to make all this concrete, but now kind of seeing it. There's a helicopter. I do kind of want to have just like little pockets of greenery in there. That works for me. Okay, now how are these houses looking? Oh. Oh my. That's not at all what I was hoping for here. No, that's not it. That's not what we're doing there. Okay, let's do southwest instead. I am going to come through and just completely delete this whole rung. Maybe we'll get some... I don't know why it's doing these 2x2s. That's so strange to me that it won't zone a larger piece. But either way, that's fine. All right, now popping over here, we're getting all of these beautiful buildings over here. Let's do this. Let's go in here and let's grab the remove surface tool. And let's just remove all the surfaces that are here. There's a bunch of them actually hidden underneath. Surface there. Surface here and here. Surface here, here, and here. Okay, get rid of all the surfaces. We don't want any surface in this area whatsoever. Okay, now what we're going to do is place down a brand new surface that's just going to kind of tie all this together. Let's use pavement 1. Oops, hold on. She hadn't finished constructing yet, so when she did, it added another surface in there. Delete. Delete. Come on. How much more time you got? 95, 96, 97, 98, 100. Okay, the same building, but it's okay. I like that style. I think it's going to look nice. Let's go ahead and get... Really, we're just going to cut this kind of straight on through. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. Doesn't have to be pretty. It's just going to kind of tuck in there. Bam. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. Right along the back here. Now, maybe I'll come through and do some detailing, but I like the idea that these businesses just back right up into this quote-unquote train line. It's really a metro, but we're going to pretend it's a train. We have any people walking around down here? No, it's a ghost town. Absolute ghost town. All right, so these are zoning it. This is much better. This is much better. I want them to be kind of a mix. I think the problem was the other ones all look the same. These ones are like a mix of different houses, which I like that there's some variety, at least a little bit. Okay, along the roads where people live, that one can't have grass and trees, but along the roads where people live, they are going to have grass and trees. You will park in your driveways, please and thank you. And I am just going to quickly throw down just a collection of trees here kind of in the middle. Yep, that's it. These people can stare at each other's backyards, but that's perfect. Much better there. I don't know what's going on with this, where like these just are not zoning in. If I do a different building, does that matter or no? All right, let's do this. Let's grab this right here. And we're going to place this here. And we'll place one right here. Bam. Now it's all filled in. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. These have such bright roofs. It's kind of crazy. They look just so bright. Not mad about it, though. Okay, how's our elementary school going? Doing totally fine. And our high school is also doing fine. I think we could consider adding Cedar Junction to this high school. It's close enough. I also think Harley could be added to that high school as well. How is this school doing? It's still getting a little bit murky. I will say we could add Cedar Junction to the Fox Hollow Elementary School. Harley, I think, will have its own elementary school separately. All right, so now we've got this kind of beginning to zone in. I do think maybe along this road here, we will also have some more zoning. Let's add a key wall along this backside to allow for a bunch of houses here. And then let's also add a key wall, I think, right here. Or anarchy this in. But add a key wall here so that we've got all of this is going to have houses. We'll anarchy this side in as well. So now all of the houses are going to be facing the interior. Let's go ahead and do the southwest. I really liked how this looked. We're going to fill all this here with housing. We'll fill this with housing and this with housing. We'll also fill this with housing. But then right here in this section, I think we will do just a little bit of low-density commercial. Get some more businesses in here. Rest of this, trees, baby. Trees, baby, trees. Pretty good. We're kind of nestling these houses in here. I like that. I like that. All right, now we've got all this in place. Let's go ahead and pivot to something a little bit different. I want to build out some type of path. I want to have this kind of pedestrian walking path that leads from this high school area, meanders its way through all of this, through the woods here along the highway, comes over here and connects into here, and I think even somehow connects over into South 2nd. Exactly how and where, I'm not sure, but I know that's kind of the direction I want to take it in. So let's figure out how that's going to happen. Let's grab our path here. We could very well try to squeeze a path through this. I think this is going to be very difficult to do. Let's see if this is possible. If I were to... So many cars. If I were to raise this up. Can I cut through this at any point? Like if I were to say like come right through here, does that work? No, does this work? No, does this work? No, does this work? No, does this work? Oh. No, because now it's connecting to that road. So we could even go above. No, it only goes 20 high, so it can't go much any higher than that. So then I think this is going to need to go on the ground, right next door to the highway, right? So let's do this. I say let's turn this all the way down, turn basically everything off. And starting right here, we're going to do a nice little curve moment and go from here to here. guess first, actually, we want to go over top of this. What height do I need to be at to cross over this road? Right here is what we need. Okay, so you're going to go from right here over to here. Bam. Then connect up to this point, and we're going to bring this. You know what? I wasn't going to bring it down like that, but I think actually we are. I was thinking more like this was going to curve kind of like this. Like that. Yep, so there's our entrance. Okay, so now this is going to come over this direction. And I want it to come all the way through, but I do need to stay at least one above the ground, because what I want is I want it to have key walls on both sides. Just like so. Okay. Here we need to get over this area again, so let's just drag it all the way out until we can get over top. Then for here, we're going to bring it back down to the ground. So what I'm thinking, I have my one hand on the height button, and then I have my other hand on the mouse. Okay, let's see. So forgive the chaotic looking curves here. Let's switch over to continuous. And at this point, we can come back down to the ground. I think we will turn off any of our angle snaps. This is going to connect right up here into this roundabout. Okay? So now we've got the initial part of this path. You can come from this high school and walk all the way over to here. I do also think that for those living here, there would be another connection point right here that I would want to make. I think this would just come out straight to here, and then we would do a little curve like that. Okay, so now we've got another connection here. You get to go over top the highway. I do think I want to, real quick before I get too much further, let's just go ahead and lower this. Pause. Yeah. We're totally fine. Okay. So then that's going to curve this direction. Beautiful. This path then winds through this kind of forested area and comes over here. Now from this point, I want to have another path. Let's stick to the side of the building here. I want to have another path that comes right to here, right? And it's going to follow the side of the cemetery up to here, at which point we switch back to continuous. And we do this. Bring it over. Bring it around. Give it a nice sweeping curve, kind of this direction. Then, I think we can kind of see almost where it's going to go, right? Like there's an opening here between the trees. Let's use that opening. And we can connect this right up and in. Slope is too steep. Oh my. She is a steep slope. Okay. It's going to come over like this, and we'll kind of do like a little switch over. And we will have a dedicated crosswalk there. I wouldn't want you to use the switchback for this, but I do want to have access points somewhere in here. So let's go ahead and bring this kind of straight up like this and turn in. Like so. Turn around, keeping that oak right there in the middle. I think that's nice. So now this area, Hickory Hill, can walk its way all the way over here into really Fox Hollow. And Fox Hollow can walk all the way over here into the other portion of Fox Hollow. We already have somebody walking along here, which is great. We love to see it. They go underneath the highway, then back up. And we've kept all of that elevated nicely. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to add in some retaining or some barriers right along here, because what we don't want is we don't want people being able to get onto the highway. So we'll put some barrier retaining walls right there. We'll put them here along Aspen as well. This is going to help improve everyone's way of living over here. So just put a sound barrier all the way along that. This already has a key, so I'm fine with that. And nobody lives over here right now, so I don't even know if this needs a barrier per se. We'll leave that alone for now. Okay. Do we want an additional connection in here? I don't think so, because we have this connection here, which is good enough for me. Definitely do another one right here. Hold on. Take this. Go like this. Connect it straight up and in. Let's put an oak tree right in the middle. Bam. So now we have a new connection there. I also want to consider having some type of bridge connection. So you come down here and then you can walk along this key wall right over to here. It's beautiful. You're loving it. We have this bridge here, which already has sidewalks that people do use. But what if you're down here and you just want to get over to here? It's a much faster route for pedestrians. The challenge we're going to have is that we already have a lot of development over here, including one of my favorite buildings, the Arts and Drafts Bar. This is fantastic. We could consider maybe this row of trees right here. Hold on, let's see. Would this fit? We have all these bushes. If I were to say snap to nothing, here's ground level. Like, could I force this in here? No. Not without destroying something. And I don't necessarily want to destroy anything to make this happen. But there's got to be a way to do this. We could actually... See, but I like this greenhouse. Wait, I can see their happiness readings? Oh, wow. Reliable health care. High taxes. High noise. You're next to a frickin' subway station. Of course there's high noise. Okay, that idea is not going to work. Another idea would be we come along the back here and then we're already high up because we're on a hill. So then we could just kind of cross straight on over. Where do I want this to come from? I think I want this to come from here. Let's start backwards. That goes up. We don't want it to go up any. That goes down. That right there is perfect. If I were to say just take this kind of straight across, where does it end up? Over here by the school, but it runs into a bunch of stuff. But if I were to maybe like continuously curve, right? We bring it over. Yeah, we could go underneath. That would be quite fun. But we bring it over this way, right? Like to here. Then we bring it over to here. Right next to the bridge. Okay, hold on. We still don't have anarchy on, which is fantastic. Now we're back to ground level. It works to here. Okay, hold the phone, people. Hold the phone. We've got a connection. We have a connection. You can now take this little walk and walk right over top of the bridges. There's already a natural divot here for some reason. Right over top of the train station, or the train line, the SEPTA line. You come around and over. Now this hill here is not ideal. But what I think we do with that is we raise this up and we begin to smooth this out earlier. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this. Let's see if I click on Moonflower Street. Anybody coming this way? Pearl Street. We've got these guys. How about if I click over here onto whatever this road is? Butler Lane. I don't think anyone's using it just yet, but we're going to keep an eye on it. But now we've got this like nice little river walk. You get over to here and you're not connected to the river. So I think it also means we need to come up with a way to get you connected up. Let's do a 90-degree snap. We're also going to keep snap to existing geometry turned on, and we're going to do continuous. What we're going to do is this. I'm going to raise this up. Actually, we're going to want this to be at like the lowest point, which would be like about here, right? Right here is no real change in grade. And that brings you all the way down to the ground level. Absolutely gorgeous. Now the question is, do we just... we make a big circle. do we just bring this around like this? And then connect over like this? I think we do. So now you can easily go from basically this portion of the city in South 2nd. It's a little bit of a secret entrance, but once you know it's there, are you going this way? Oh, you live here. Well, welcome to your new pathway that allows people to cross all the way over here and go over into Amberwood. And then once they get over here, they can say, actually, let's go down along the river. They can walk along the river. Beautiful. We love it. They come over to the other crosswalk. They're like, you know what? Let me take this and go all the way through the back of this area. I did see one person. Are there others? Nope. You come over here. You can split over to this one. Go along this way. I'm not going to say people are going to use it, because that's wishful thinking. But it's there. So now we've got this like gorgeous little path. Oh, fan. Big fan. Love that. Huge ups. Props. Let's do it. It's kind of like a little pretzel. A little bit. Not really. I don't think anybody wants... Yeah. Shut it down. Where are you going? Oh my God, Whitney Paxton. I'm following you. You're my new favorite person. You're happy. You're educated. You're retired. Wretched. You live in one of the nicest neighborhoods in the area. I mean, at least to me, it's one of the nicest neighborhoods in the area. But where are you going now? Like, what's your destination? You're walking over here. You're coming over here. Are you moving in over here? Because it's wretched. Destination. Is this going to be your new home? Oh, no. Whatever will you do? Okay, so we've got a new pathway system. Loving that. All of these apparently have now lost connection to the road. So we're just going to do this. Maybe build a different one there. I can't help you if you built a driveway that doesn't have road access. That's between you and yourself. I do think right here in this little corner section, I wouldn't mind putting one of those low density French buildings. French, doesn't matter the level. We want low, or I guess I can go over here. I want, there's a 3x5, a 4x5 is that H shape, and then this is the T shape. Place these next to each other. Let's go ahead and lock them at level 1. I am going to then come over here, grab this pathway, and just connect it up and over into the train station's set of paths. This one will also bring over, and we'll just fill all this in with concrete. And then we have paths behind the buildings. Great. I'm happy with that. Just adding a little bit more there. I mean, we could even go a bit further. And at least so it doesn't look so just kind of bleh. We could put in like a gazebo or something. Make it feel like there was some intention here. Can't guarantee there was. This I will anarchy in place. Okay. Cute. Little area there. How many people are on? 18! That we like to see. How's this one doing? How many people are waiting here? 5. All right. I will go ahead and give this a little bit more comfort. We're still in the well-developed area here. I think as we go further out, we'll stop doing so many of the upgrades, but I like the roof. I think the roof looks nice. The only other thing I really had thought about doing today, and it's kind of over here in Easton, it's separate from everything else, and I'm going to have to keep the game paused for this, but I would like to rework this a little bit. What I want to do is I want to make this feel a bit nicer. And by nicer, I mean a bit more full. I don't think that there's enough subway infrastructure over here. There we go. Now it's fall, right? So it's going to look a little strange, but I think that just is a nice, it kind of caps it off. Once these turn green again, that's going to look really good. I think it's just a much better setup. All right, with that, I think we've done everything I'd set out to do today. I mean, we have got basically 3-ish new neighborhoods. Everybody's looking pretty okay. We've got some new buildings here, which are the same as the old buildings, but magically they're connected to the road. We didn't do a whole ton in terms of overall expansion, but I wanted to be slower today and just make sure we did all this right. We've got a nice new pathway that kind of cuts all the way from Fox Hollow all the way over here to the riverfront, and then there is a new pathway here that crosses over, and people are starting to use it, which is very exciting. Where are you going? You're wretched again as well. Do you live... Don't tell me you live in Fox Hollow. You don't. You live right here. You live right here in Ortega? Wow. And you're all the way over here. What are you doing? Looks like you took the subway though. We love that. And then we built out just a little bit more detailing here because now we're getting into the suburban kind of mindset. So we've started expanding this area. I think next part, I want to just finish this. I want to just get this area done. I'm going to probably start with the time lapse. We'll build a bunch of roads and we'll just start zoning, get this area locked up. And then we can figure out what our next step is. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.